Hello, Algebra 2 class. This is Mr. AC once again with some outstanding videos, hopefully. What I want to be able to go over today is I want to be able to go over how to find the inverse of an equation. As you can see here, you're probably going to see it on the exam or in problems. Instead of actually saying find the inverse of f of x, you'll see it written like this because mathematicians are lazy. This up here is actually not -1. What that represents is actually inverse. So you would read this as find the inverse of f of x. So here is f of x, this is our function, and now we want to go ahead and find its inverse. So to do that, the first thing that I probably would like to do is I want to just write this because this is our output, I want to write this as y equals x divided by 4 raised to the 4 minus 2. Okay, give me 1 second. Alright, so now we have y equals x divided by 4 raised to the 4 minus 2. Now remember that in order to use inverses, we have to switch our inputs and our outputs. So what we want to do is we want to switch our input into our output and our output into our input. So all you're really doing is just switching the variables. So you get x equals y divided by 4 raised to the 4 minus 2. Perfect. Now I want to go ahead and try to solve for y. So I want to isolate y. I want to get it by itself. So the first thing I want to do is I want to undo the subtracting sign. So in order to undo subtracting, what is that? How do you undo subtracting? That's correct. You got it correct. You have to add. So I want to add, okay, because I want to undo the subtracting sign. Well, I want to add 2 to both sides. The reason why I'm adding 2 to both sides, again, is because I'm trying to isolate y. Well, what's -2 plus 2? Or you can read this as 2 minus 2. Well, that's just 0. That's just going to cancel out there. Whoops. All right. Now over here I get x plus 2, so okay, x plus 2 equals, what's remaining on the right hand side? Well, this already canceled out, so we're only left with this right here. So we're going to get y divided by 4 raised to the 4. Okay. Now I want to take the time real quick just to erase a little bit up above, that way just to give myself a little more space. So make sure you're writing this down, okay? Let me go ahead and I'm going to erase this part up here. Okay. And I'm going to actually write just this part up here. I just want to write it nice and big. But the nice thing is that you can always rewind. Okay, so this is where we were left off at. Perfect. Now, this is what we have to do now, okay, is we realize, oh gosh darn it, I don't know what to do because, okay, I have this y minus 4 and then it's raised to the 4th. And over here I have x plus 2. Well, I want to get y by itself. So I want to undo, I want to undo the 4 on the top. The way to undo the 4 on the top is, well, first thing I want to do is I'm just going to go ahead and put a little set of parentheses here. So it never hurts to put parentheses. I think that it helps you from preventing a mistake. Basically what I want to do is I want to find a number that when I multiply 4 on the exponent, when I multiply 4 in this number, I get 1. I want to be able to undo this. I want to be able to undo this exponent of 4. And over here, if you don't, we don't have to write it, but essentially over here we have a 1 right there. Okay, it's just like, for example, 2 always has a 2 times 1 next to it, but 2 times 1, well, that's just 2. So there's no point in writing the 2 times 1 because we know that's just 2. Just similar over here, this is raised to the first power, but usually we don't write it. But in this case, I want us to write it because I think it might be helpful to understand what we're going to do. So in order to undo this 4, so that 4 times some number gets us 1, one way to think about it is 4 divided by what number gives us 1? Well, we know that 4 divided by 4 gives us 1. So another way to write that, a division problem into multiplication, is just 1 over 4. Now, if we do it on one side of the equation, we always have to. That's right, we have to do it on the other side of the equation. Okay. So I want to show you why this is the case. Okay, why is it that 4 times 1/4 equals 1? Basically, when you see problems like this, all you need to do is you're almost essentially flipping it. So this is like 4 over 1. You just flipped it, and the reason why is because this is 4 times 1/4. Well, that's the same thing as let me rewrite this one more time. So 4 over 1, right? That's, I will write it like that. I know it's just 4, but it's 4 divided by 1. Well, that's just 4, but I want to write it like this just so you could see. So 4 times 1/4 is the same thing as, well, 4 times 4 is 4, and then 1 times 4 is 4. Well, look at that. 4 divided by 4, well, that's just 1. Or you could also see this as the 4 on the top kind of cancels out with the 4 on the bottom, and all you're left with is the 1 divided by 1, which is 1. But I like to think of it more as 4 divided by 4 is just 1. Okay, so 4 times 1/4, well, that's just 1. So that's gone. And now 1 times 1/4, well, that's 1/4. So what we get remaining now is x plus 2 raised to the 1/4 equals y divided by 4. Okay, now we're almost done here. We are so close to being done. We want to get this y by itself. So we see that it's y divided by 4. Well, how do you undo division? Well, that's correct. You multiply. So I want to multiply by 4. It's almost identical to this problem up here, but instead of multiplying by 1 over 4 to cancel it out, in this case over here, right, I have y divided by 4. Well, I want to multiply by 4 over 1. So that way 4 divided by 4, well, that's just 1, but if I do it on one side of the equation, I have to do it on the other side. Now keep in mind, okay, this is extremely important, that you cannot multiply 4 inside here. Okay, and the reason why is because this x plus 2 is bounded by the parentheses because it has an exponent on it. So that multiplied by 4 has to go on the outside. It cannot go inside of parentheses. So now finally we get 4 x plus 2 raised to the 1/4 equals y. And at this point, we're actually done with the problem. We finally solved for y. Or we could rewrite this as f of the inverse of f of x. And at this point, we are finished. We have officially finished this problem. Okay. Well, let us go ahead and do maybe another problem to try to get some more practice. Okay. So let me go ahead and erase this. Let's go ahead and do a problem because I know a few people wanted problems with square roots in it. So let's do f of x equals the square root of 2y plus 1 minus 3. Okay. So the first thing I want to do, just like before, is I want to write this as y equals the square root of 2y plus 1 minus 3. Oh, my apologies. There should be an x there. Oh.